Hello everybody, Gamemode here, and today I'm going to talk about the newest adversary mode in GTA Online called Motor Wars. So this is a new adversary mode that was added in the Smuggler's Run DLC for GTA Online. It can best be described as sort of a battle royale game mode similar to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or any of those other, battle royale game modes where the objective is to survive the longest. And so essentially you spawn in a cargo bob and you drop into a pretty large map. Each and every one of these maps, which I believe there's 7 of them, are actually all quite large. And you have to essentially go and kill the other team. But the difference is that you only spawn with a pistol and you have to find vehicles and weapons scattered around the map. And this adversary mode is the highest player count on any adversary mode in the game. I don't think there's ever been an adversary mode with more than 16 people, but this one is capped out at 28, so almost 30 players, and it is insane. It is total mayhem at 28 players, and it's actually not that hard to get 28 players in this adversary mode, at least, a couple days after the DLC has been released. And you can go anywhere from 2 to 4 teams, which is actually something quite good. And this adversary mode is pretty much very similar to PUBG, so if you play that, you know how it works. It's even got where the circle, the map actually shrinks over time, so that is a feature in this adversary mode. However, it's not exactly like PUBG. Instead of it being more focused on ground combat, it's more focused on vehicle combat in this Motor Wars adversary mode, which I feel is kind of a smart decision because a lot of people would argue that the combat isn't that great in GTA Online. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that bad. It is certainly manageable. However, it is something that's unique to GTA Online compared to a lot of the other Battle Royale games that have been coming out. Because if you compare it to like Battlegrounds, vehicles in that game are not as useful or not as, combat ready compared to vehicles in GTA Online. They're usually used for transport in that game and not much else. In here, it's, your actual weapon is the vehicle. Even though you can do quite well on foot, and there are RPGs, and there's combat MGs and railguns and a lot of different weapons that you can pick up on the ground, which is another thing that's quite good. And something that's actually quite cool is that a couple weeks ago, and this is actually one of the most fun adversary modes in GTA Online, especially if you play with friends, because it is hectic, there's a lot of chaos in it, it's unique, and it's just a lot of players and a lot of fun because it's a big map. The maps on this game mode are bigger than any of the other adversary modes. Besides maybe like Extraction or Entourage or something. It actually feels a lot like Extraction. With different chase scenes. And that's actually one of the most fun things about this adversary mode is finding vehicles, finding weapons, and then going to war. And the moments that happen whenever you are inside the gunner seat of, say, an insurgent or a half-track, or maybe on the back of the technical and you have a minigun and you're shooting at the enemy while they're shooting back at you, and your driver's weaving, through tunnels and over hills, and, you're doing some jumps, and it's crazy. So I actually really love this adversary mode. There's actually only a few complaints I can think of with this. First is, I think they should add some aircraft. Now, some people may disagree with this, but I think just having some small aircraft, like the new Havoc helicopter or the new Ultralight, I think those would be quite cool because, those are single-seater vehicles. I feel like we may need a little bit more of that. So I'd really like to see some new vehicles that can be utilized by the driver, even though they may not be as powerful as some of the other ones. And, I think the Havoc and the Ultralight, and maybe some other vehicles, some other air vehicles could work as well. And then maybe even the Valkyrie could work if you take off the front cannon. I feel like if you have the front cannon, it would be too overpowered. But there's already a Valkyrie in the game that doesn't have the front cannon, and that is available in the creator, so I'm sure they can just add that. And, that would actually be quite cool because I think, adding a different dynamic with air vehicles, maybe they'd be rare, maybe there'd only be one on the map at a time, but that would be quite cool because, it'd have different elevations, and I feel like it wouldn't be too overpowered because it's pretty easy to take down a helicopter. There's RPGs, railguns, you have many different anti-air, weapons that can be used on the turrets. So I feel like it wouldn't be too overpowered. It would just be something that's quite fun and would add more variety into this game mode. Another thing is I would like to see them add a sniper. Maybe a heavy sniper. I don't know if it should be the heavy sniper Mark II, and I don't think it should be one with explosive rounds. However, I do think a sniper would be quite cool. And maybe have it only have like 6 rounds or maybe 12 in total. But I feel like what would be cool about this is imagine, you get a sniper, you're in a good spot, above everybody else, and then somebody's on the turret, he's coming for you, and then you just get that lucky sniper shot. I feel like that would be so awesome and could lead to some clutch moments where, you're trying to stay away from some people, and maybe, you're the final person on your team, and you just take out a whole squad, a whole team with your sniper. I think that would actually be quite cool. Also, one complaint I have about this adversary mode is that you're only able to put it on to 2 rounds max. I would like to be able to do at least 4 or maybe 3. Now, I do think that it is, at the moment, first to win 2 rounds, so you can go on to 3 to 4, depending on how many teams there are, you can have it where it is more than just 2 rounds. However, if it's two teams and they both win, basically the match is over. And I would like to see the matches last a little bit longer. However, another complaint I do have, sort of related to that, is that the mode just doesn't pay all that well. Keep in mind that this adversary mode is not double money at the moment. I wish it was. While a lot of people are still playing the adversary mode, I would have liked to have seen it double money in RP. Especially, right as the DLC came out, whenever the most people are playing it. Maybe they'll add new maps for it, and then, if the game mode does well, then they'll have it double money in RP. And I just feel like, and I just don't want this game mode to die out, because I really do enjoy it, and it definitely needs a lot of players. And if not a lot of people are searching for it, and not a lot of people feel like playing it, because it just doesn't pay enough, I feel like the game mode may die, and I really don't want that. Maybe make a few changes here and there, maybe add some new aircraft, or, add some different weapons, and change it up, and maybe add some new maps. And I feel like this adversary mode could be one of the best in the game. I feel like it already is very good. So anyways, let me know your thoughts on this game mode in the comments. Do you enjoy it? Do you not? What changes would you like to make to it? And I hope you all enjoyed. Feedback is always appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next video.